she's your girlfriend. Gypsy's your
girlfriend. She is. Yeah, she is.
And you love her?
Oh, do I ever.
You love her a lot?
I was bawling my eyes out waiting for this moment where I can talk to you.
Okay.
Because I was so worried about her.
Okay. Did Gypsy know that you were going to kill her mother?
Honestly, she asked me to.
Okay. So Gypsy knew you were going to do it because Gypsy asked you to.
Yes.
Why did she ask you to do that?
Because she felt it was her only way to be with me.
Okay.
How did Nick know when to do this crime, time-wise, that morning?
I told him.
Who planned this murder?
I did.
I only used the one card that I have over you. Gypsy.
We have a little bit of an update on Nicholas Godejohn's newest appeal from his father, Bobby Godejohn. Now, this is actually from a Gypsy Rose Blanchard Facebook group in which Bobby has also shared some screenshots from Nicholas and Gypsy's old Facebook accounts where they're communicating with each other. So first we're going to get into this one, which talks about Nick's appeal. So he writes, "What did happen today? Nick received in the mail the state's briefing on why they don't feel the court should accept his appeal, as well as the testimony of Dr. W. Nick said he was not impressed. What this means is he is now able to file a rebuttal to their claims, for Dr. W has an extensive medical background as a neuropsychologist specializing in ASD, and Nick feels is the only doctor thus far who has understood him correctly, and his testimony should be heard." From his appealant's brief, the jury did not hear evidence from an expert neuropsychologist specializing in ASD, stating that Nick's autism played a role in his social relationship with GB and her ability to manipulate him as a highly susceptible person. Dr. W's testimony proves that a neuropsychologist with experience in autism would have explained to the jury that GB's manipulation of Mr. Godejohn over 2.5 years, combined with Mr. Godejohn's ASD/Asperger's, would have negated Nick's ability to deliberate. A specialist would have explained that Nick's conditions caused him to surrender his deliberation to GB's logic because he took her statements as literal facts when she said that unaliving her mother was the only way they could be together and that it was up to him to rescue her. Had a specialist like Dr. W testified, Mr. Godejohn would not have been convicted on first degree. The specialist would have testified that Mr. Godejohn's autism characteristics are always present and cannot be separated from him. The specialist would also testify that Mr. Godejohn is impaired in understanding social cues and how to respond to them. This is just another delay, but does not mean it is bad news. Keep the prayers and well wishes coming his way, and that his rebuttal is accepted. So just for a little bit of a background on Nicholas's sentencing and his previous appeals. Nicholas was convicted in 2018. He was found guilty for first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life without parole plus 25 years for armed criminal action. In 2022, during his conviction appeal hearing, his attorneys did not argue his innocence, but rather that Nick was not capable of understanding what he did due to his mental capacity. They argued that his public defenders didn't do enough during his criminal trial. So basically, the defense is alleging that the only reason he was found guilty in his jury trial is because he had ineffective assistance of counsel. So that's when Nick's defense called on a new doctor, which is Dr. W, the neuropsychologist, to try to establish that Nick's autism played a significant role in Gypsy basically manipulating him into unaliving her mother. So his defense is going to argue that his mental state does not meet the requirements for first degree.
If he were to get a new trial, then it would start all the way over and there wouldn't be any previous finding of first degree or second degree. It would just have to go back to a new trial.
Now we're going to go over some of the screenshots that Nick's dad has been sharing in some of the Gypsy Rose Blanchard Facebook groups. He posted this one on February 2nd saying, i.e. it's going to be a shocker. And one would assume that this is about Nick's new appeal, but he didn't really clarify in the comments. He also shared this screenshot. This is from December 5th of 2014, and this says Emma Rose, that is one of Gypsy's Facebook accounts, is with Nicholas Godejohn. So this is a post that she shared, and she tagged him in it, and then he commented on it. So go ahead and pause to read that. Nick comments, "Honey, I know all this stuff naturally. It's a part of why you'll be helpless to my seduction, dear." And then she replies, bites lip. He also posted this. "This is why Nick and I have so much empathy for the world. This is my brother David, as some of you may have seen or noticed in the other groups. He's one of Nick's uncles, and yes, there's a lot more to this story than what's been told. He was born with spina bifida, a real condition versus the one who faked it for over a year and a half or so, a lot longer before she met Nick on Christian Mingles or whatever he met her on, before she came clean and told Nick the truth that she could walk. I've raised my son to never look down on anyone, and after the many hardships my brother endured throughout his entire life, and finding this out boiled my blood something fiercely, I'll tell yous. He's been taken advantage of so many times I've lost count over the years, and I've gotten him out of some pretty big jams. This one woman got him to buy her 4 brand new iPhone 10s or whatever they were at the time. Oh, I'll tell ya." And then attached to that post, this is what he shared. So this is from David Godejohn, Nick's uncle. "I am Nick uncle. I have the same thing as Nick autism. If someone tell me to do something bad, I will do it. If you tell Nick to do something bad, he will do it. He does not know right from wrong." Now this one is especially interesting. So it says, "Emma Rose is with Nicholas Godejohn. This is dated April 17th of 2015. So this one says, "If I started moaning blank out of the blue in a public place, would it embarrass you or turn you on?" And then Nicholas comments, "Dear, it matters on the scenario. Yes, you said we would be out in public, but you didn't say anything else. Besides that, dear, you know naturally your moan turns me on, but it all depends on the place in the public and the scenario based on how much it would turn me on, darling." And then Gypsy replies, "LOL, okay, darling." Now, I just thought that was really interesting considering the situation that happened with Nicholas at the McDonald's. Now, Nick met Gypsy in 2012, and this incident at McDonald's happened in March of 2013. So a year after Nick had met Gypsy. Now, he was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct, but he also was carrying a knife, so he got charged with a concealed weapon as well. According to this article, when Nick was questioned about why his hands were in his pants, he claimed that he was just scratching himself. Nicholas pled no contest to the disorderly conduct, but the concealed weapon charge was dropped by prosecutors. Now, there is also a change.org petition for Nick. I will link it down in the description below if you would like to sign it. These are also some other things that you could do if you're interested in helping Nick. We have a lot more to cover when it comes to the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case. We're going to go over some of the actual case documents because I think there's a lot of information that the general public just doesn't know since Gypsy took a plea deal and didn't really stand trial. That's all I have for now. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing.